The sky above the small town of Eldridge was a deep, inky blue, dotted with stars that seemed to twinkle with an unusual intensity. The townsfolk had long grown accustomed to the quiet, uneventful nights, but tonight was different. A low hum reverberated through the air, growing louder with each passing second. Dogs barked, and birds took flight, their silhouettes darting across the moonlit sky. In the heart of the town, Dr. Evelyn Harper, a renowned astrophysicist, stood on the balcony of her modest home, her eyes fixed on the horizon. She had spent years studying the cosmos, searching for signs of extraterrestrial life. But now, as the hum grew deafening, she felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her chest. This wasn't a meteor or a satellite. This was something else entirely. The hum reached a crescendo, and then, with a blinding flash of light, a sleek, silver spacecraft descended from the heavens. It hovered for a moment, casting an eerie glow over the town, before landing gracefully in a nearby field. The ground shook, and windows rattled, but the craft itself remained eerily silent. Evelyn grabbed her coat and rushed out the door, her heart pounding. She wasn't the only one drawn to the spectacle. The townsfolk gathered at the edge of the field, their faces a mix of awe and fear. The spacecraft's surface shimmered like liquid mercury, reflecting the moonlight in mesmerizing patterns. As the crowd watched in stunned silence, a hatch on the side of the craft slid open with a soft hiss. A figure emerged, tall and slender, with skin that glowed faintly in the dark. It was a woman, her features both alien and strangely familiar. Her eyes, large and luminous, scanned the crowd before settling on Evelyn. "Dr. Harper," the alien woman said, her voice melodic yet commanding. "I have come for the child." Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. 10 years ago, she had made a decision that would change her life forever. She had been part of a secret government project, one that involved the study of extraterrestrial DNA. During that time, she had encountered this very alien woman, who had entrusted her with a child, a hybrid of human and alien DNA. Evelyn had raised the child as her own, naming him Leo. Now, standing before the alien woman, Evelyn felt a surge of emotions, fear, guilt, and a fierce protectiveness. "You can't take him," she said, her voice trembling. "He's my son." The alien woman's expression softened. "I understand your attachment, Dr. Harper. But Leo is not just your son. He is the key to the survival of my people. I must take him back." Before Evelyn could respond, a voice rang out from the crowd. "What the hell is going on here?" It was Sheriff Tom Grayson, his hand resting on the holster of his gun. He had always been a man of action, and the sight of an alien spacecraft in his town was more than he could handle. He stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as he addressed the alien woman. "You're not taking anyone without an explanation." The alien woman turned to him, her gaze piercing. "Your weapons are of no consequence to me, Sheriff Grayson. But I will explain, for the sake of peace. My name is Zara, and I am from a planet called Lyra. 10 years ago, I came to Earth to seek refuge. My people were on the brink of extinction, and I needed to ensure the survival of our species. I entrusted Dr. Harper with a child who carries the genetic code that could save us all." The crowd murmured, their fear giving way to curiosity. Evelyn stepped forward, her voice steady now. "Leo is just a boy. He doesn't even know about his origins. You can't just take him away." Zara's eyes filled with sorrow. "I do not wish to cause you pain, Dr. Harper. But time is running out. If Leo does not return with me, my people will perish. And Earth will be next." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Evelyn's mind raced. She had always known this day might come, but she had hoped it never would. She looked at Zara, then at the crowd, and finally at Sheriff Grayson. "What do we do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Grayson hesitated, then holstered his gun. "We listen," he said. And then we decide. The townsfolk of Eldridge gathered in the community hall, their faces a mixture of fear and curiosity. Zara stood at the front of the room, her luminous eyes scanning the crowd. Evelyn sat nearby, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Leo, now 10 years old, sat beside her, his wide eyes fixed on Zara. He had always known he was different, but he had never imagined the truth. Zara began to speak, her voice carrying a weight of urgency. 10 years ago, my people faced a cataclysm. Our sun was dying, and our planet was becoming uninhabitable. We sent out scouts to find a new home, but our efforts were in vain. That is when I came to Earth, seeking a solution. She paused, her gaze settling on Leo. This child is the result of years of genetic research. He carries within him the key to our survival, a unique combination of human and Lyran DNA that could allow us to adapt to new environments. But he is also more than that. He is a bridge between our species, a symbol of hope for a future where we can coexist. The room was silent as Zara's words sank in. Evelyn felt a lump form in her throat. She had always known Leo was special, but she had never imagined the weight of the responsibility he carried. She reached out and took his hand, squeezing it gently. Leo looked up at her, his eyes filled with questions. Mom, is it true? Am I an alien? Evelyn's heart ached. You're my son, she said firmly. No matter where you come from, you'll always be my son. Zara stepped forward, her expression softening. Leo, you are not just a child of two worlds. You are the hope of both. My people need you. But I understand that this is a lot to ask of you, and of your mother. Sheriff Grayson stood up, his arms crossed over his chest. You're asking us to hand over a child to you, just like that? How do we know you're telling the truth? How do we know you're not here to harm us? Zara turned to him, her gaze steady. I understand your skepticism, Sheriff. But I assure you, my intentions are pure. If you wish, I can provide proof. She raised her hand, and a holographic image appeared in the air before her. It showed a desolate landscape, a dying sun casting long shadows over crumbling cities. The image shifted, showing a group of beings who resembled Zara, their faces filled with despair. This is Lyra, Zara said. Or what remains of it. My people are on the brink of extinction. We do not have the luxury of deceit. The room fell silent once more. Evelyn looked at Leo, then at Zara. If we agree to let Leo go with you, what happens next? Zara's expression was solemn. We will return to Lyra, where Leo's DNA will be used to create a new generation of hybrids, beings who can survive in harsh environments and ensure the survival of our species. But I promise you, Dr. Harper, Leo will not be harmed. He will be treated with the utmost care and respect. Evelyn's mind raced. She had always known this day might come, but she had never imagined it would be so soon. She looked at Leo, her heart breaking at the thought of losing him. But she also knew that she couldn't stand in the way of something so important. Leo, she said softly, this is your decision. Whatever you choose, I'll support you. Leo looked at her, then at Zara. His young face was filled with a mixture of fear and determination. I want to help, he said finally. If I can save your people, then I'll go. Evelyn's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. Then we'll do it together. The spacecraft was unlike anything Evelyn had ever seen. Its interior was a blend of advanced technology and organic design, with walls that seemed to pulse with a faint, rhythmic glow. Leo clung to her hand as they followed Zara through the ship, his eyes wide with wonder. This is incredible, Evelyn murmured, her scientist's mind unable to resist marveling at the technology around her. Zara smiled faintly. Our technology is far beyond what you have on Earth, but it is not without its limitations. We have been able to sustain ourselves for a time, but without a new home, we cannot survive. She led them to a large, circular room at the center of the ship. In the middle of the room was a pod-like structure, its surface transparent. Inside, Evelyn could see a swirling, luminescent liquid. "This is the genetic chamber," Zara explained. "It will extract the necessary DNA from Leo and use it to create new hybrids. The process is painless, but it will take some time." Evelyn's heart clenched at the thought of Leo being separated from her, even for a short time. But she knew this was necessary. She knelt down and looked into his eyes. "You're going to be brave, okay? I'll be right here, waiting for you." Leo nodded, his small face filled with determination. "I'll be okay, Mom." Zara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are doing a great thing, Leo. Your courage will save countless lives." With that, she guided him into the chamber. The liquid inside swirled around him, enveloping him in a soft, glowing light. Evelyn watched, her heart pounding, as the process began. Hours passed, though it felt like an eternity to Evelyn. She sat on the floor of the chamber, her eyes never leaving Leo. Zara stood nearby, her expression unreadable. Finally, the light in the chamber dimmed, and the liquid receded. Leo stepped out, looking no worse for wear. Evelyn rushed to him, pulling him into a tight embrace. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice trembling. Leo nodded. "I'm fine, Mom. It didn't hurt at all." Zara approached, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Leo. You have given my people a chance at survival." Evelyn looked at her, her emotions a tangled mess. "What happens now?" Zara's expression grew solemn. "Now, we must return to Lyra. The journey will take several Earth years, but for us, it will feel like only a few months. You are welcome to come with us, Dr. Harper. But I understand if you wish to stay." Evelyn looked down at Leo, then at Zara. She knew she couldn't let Leo go alone. "We'll come," she said firmly. "Together." The journey to Lyra was unlike anything Evelyn had ever experienced. The spacecraft moved through space at speeds that defied comprehension, and the passage of time seemed to blur. For Evelyn and Leo, it felt like only a few weeks had passed when Zara announced that they were approaching their destination. Lyra was a planet of stark contrasts. Its surface was a patchwork of barren wastelands and lush, vibrant oases. The remnants of once great cities stood as silent sentinels, their crumbling spires reaching toward the sky. But amidst the desolation, there were signs of life, small communities of Lyrans who had managed to survive against all odds. As the spacecraft descended, Evelyn felt a mix of awe and trepidation. This was Leo's ancestral home, a world that held the key to his destiny. She squeezed his hand, offering him a reassuring smile. "Are you ready?" she asked. Leo nodded, his eyes filled with determination. "I'm ready, Mom." Zara led them to a large, domed structure at the center of one of the oases. Inside, they were greeted by a group of Lyrans, their faces filled with hope and gratitude. They spoke in a language Evelyn couldn't understand, but their emotions were clear. Zara turned to Evelyn and Leo. "This is the Council of Elders. They have been waiting for your arrival." The elders approached, their eyes filled with reverence as they looked at Leo. One of them, an elderly Lyran with silver hair and deep, wise eyes, spoke in a voice that was both gentle and commanding. "Welcome, Leo," he said. "You are the hope of our people. With your help, we will rebuild our world and ensure the survival of our species." Leo looked up at Evelyn, seeking reassurance. She nodded, her heart swelling with pride. "You can do this, Leo. I believe in you." Over the next few months, Leo worked with the Lyrans, using his unique DNA to help create new hybrids. Evelyn stayed by his side, offering support and guidance. Together, they watched as the Lyrans began to rebuild their world, their hope rekindled by Leo's presence. But as time passed, Evelyn couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. There were still many challenges ahead, and the fate of two worlds rested on their shoulders. Years passed, and Lyra began to flourish once more. The new hybrids, created from Leo's DNA, thrived in the harsh environment, their unique abilities allowing them to adapt and survive. The Lyrans, once on the brink of extinction, now looked to the future with hope. Evelyn and Leo had become integral parts of Lyran society. Evelyn's scientific knowledge had helped the Lyrans advance their technology, while Leo's leadership had inspired a new generation of hybrids. Together, they had forged a bond between two worlds, proving that cooperation and understanding could overcome even the greatest challenges. But as Lyra prospered, Evelyn couldn't help but think of Earth. She had left behind a world that was still grappling with its own problems, a world that could benefit from the knowledge and technology of the Lyrans. One day, she approached Zara with an idea. "What if we shared our knowledge with Earth?" she asked. "What if we helped them the way you helped us?" Zara considered her words carefully. "It is a noble idea, Dr. Harper. But Earth is not ready for such a revelation. The introduction of advanced technology could lead to chaos and conflict." Evelyn nodded, understanding the risks. "But if we don't try, Earth may never be ready. We have a responsibility to both worlds." Zara's expression softened. "You are right. But we must proceed with caution. The fate of two worlds depends on it." With Zara's support, Evelyn and Leo began to work on a plan to share their knowledge with Earth. It would be a slow, careful process, but they were determined to see it through. As they prepared for the next phase of their journey, Evelyn looked at Leo, now a young man, with pride and love. "You've done so much, Leo. I'm so proud of you." Leo smiled, his eyes filled with determination. "We're just getting started, Mom. Together, we can change the world." And with that, they set out to fulfill their destiny, knowing that their legacy would shape the future of two worlds for generations to come.